Hello, everybody. I'm Adam, the Dabbling Warlock, and today we're going to be doing day 25 of the Learn to Draw in 30 Days challenge. Yep, we've only got 5 days left after this. So let's go ahead and get started. So what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be drawing a covered bridge in 1 point perspective. So let's go ahead and get started. And we're just going to move this vanishing point over here. And let's start with our horizon line right here. Okay. And then next, what we want to do is we want to draw two parallel lines. And what this is going to be is a chasm. And I'm going to take advantage of the fact that we got a this is all going to be perfectly vertical lines, and go ahead and quickly shade this in. All right, and our bridge is going to go somewhere around there, so we're not going to bother shading any of that in, because that's all going to get erased anyway. All right, so after we do this, might need to zoom in a little bit, so hold on 1 second. Okay, I think that's going to be enough. Right there, at least get the idea across. So, just going ahead and doing that. All right. Alrighty, so the first thing we want to do is so now first thing we want to do is we want to establish where our bridge is going to start. So we're going to do something like that. And actually, what I am going to do, create a new layer. All right, so there we go. All right, we want this, and I'm going to try and make this roughly square. And we'll see why in just a second. Although, I do think... Oh boy. Okay, so I was going to make this square, but one of the problems with making it square... Oh, that is going off. Let's see. Let's start from here. I think that's still going off too. All right. Yay! Okay, that is not going off to the horizon line. Okay, so we got that. And then if we go like that. Okay, so there is the basic structure of our bridge, and We're going to go ahead and make that a little less opaque. That way it's a little easier to see what we're doing. All right, so we're going to go back here. We're going to switch to our ruler. And we're going to use this to divide this in half. All right, and then we're going to go back to perspective. And that's not quite in half, but that's all right. All right, so we have our center line. And what I'm trying to do is okay. No, that wasn't quite what I was going for. Hold on. Let's undo that. Okay, so what I actually needed to do was go here to this corner. And where that intersects, right here, is going to be a quarter of the way up. All right, so what we want to do is we want to extend these up a little bit. And then we're going to go back here. And we're going to line that up right there. And that right there. All right. And if we just undo. There we go. There we go. That is the basic structure of... So this is everything we need in order to be able to draw our covered bridge. So now that we have that, we're going to make that layer a little lighter. And do the same with the first layer. And then we're going to pick a different color. So just to make things a little clearer, and we're going to create a new layer. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to draw our ridge, our roof. So I want to extend that out a little bit, like that. All right, then we want to line that up. And that up, and then we're going to send that down a little bit too. Actually, yeah, right there is good. All right, so I'm going to get that. Okay, there we go. So I'm just using the right... You know what? I probably shouldn't have done that. Because that's the horizon line. So what we're going to do instead is we're going to pop back over to this layer. Oh, come on. And we're going to use this intersection. And we're going to extend the roof down to that instead. The reason... So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to avoid having, like, features be collinear with each other or tangent with each other. It doesn't look as good and it makes it a lot harder to tell things apart. So that's the reason I'm going through this rigmarole, is basically to avoid all that, creating problems for myself. Okay. And then what we can do is we can extend that up a little bit. And then we can move that back down to where that's lined up. Swing this around. And then we can move that up. And voila. Okay, so there is the front of our roof. And honestly, if I was going to do that, I should probably extend things out a little bit. But I think what I can do, let's go ahead and finish drawing the roof, and then we can figure out stuff after that. So what we're going to do is we're going to try and line that up. Or might need to zoom in a little bit. Okay. Okay, undo. Zoom in a little bit more, apparently, because I got this too close together. Alright, so that's the thing with software, is that sometimes they'll have things going on. Probably made that too thick. Where it's meant to help you out, but in reality it doesn't really help you out. Or there's edge cases where it fails. So anyway, and by zooming in, you can also see I did not get that perfect, but that is a-okay. All right, we can zoom back out now that we got our vertical lines. So what we're going to do is we're going to have that go all the way back that way. And then same deal here. So it looks like, so one of the things you may see is like right here is these lines look like they're going very close together, but if I were to switch colors real quick and add a new layer, if you extend this out like that, you see that it's actually going off to the horizon. So let's go ahead and undo that, and then we can go back to our original pin color. All right, so we have the peak of the roof here. So we're gonna trace that all the way. And I just realized I may have made a goof. Lovely. Lovely. I just realized I don't really have a good way to tell where this thing ends. Well, that is something we can solve later. Undo. Okay, so yeah, it definitely made this harder on myself than I really should have. Now what I could do, actually, let's bring this back, and if we, yeah, Okay. So there's actually another trick that you can do. Which is if you keep your ruler at the same angle where you drew this, you can actually scoot it over to where it ends. And because we know that, these two lines are going to be so close together back here that it doesn't matter. So we know that we're going through this corner of the bot. That we're going through this point right here on the corner. So we just line it up with that corner, and voila. Nope, that was not the right way to do it. So yeah, that is one way to get us out of a problem. Alright, so we got that. And everything's kind of converging back there anyways, so yeah. Alright, so we got that. We got the back of our roof. So next thing we want to do is we kind of want to inset this, move this back a little bit to kind of give it more of a gable. So we go right there. Yeah, so, and then if we trace this up, it goes right about, let me move over to this layer. So if we trace that up, there's our intersection point. All right, so we have our intersection point there, and we want to trace this back here. Don't know why I did it all the way back there. I guess. Oh well. It's fine. It's fine. All right, so there's our intersection point. So what we can do is there we go. That doesn't. Okay. Let's see. So we know this is going back that way. Okay, there we go. Okay, there we go. I think I have this now. Alright, so back here. Alright, so let's go ahead and draw this in. And then we go straight up to right there. And then I want to keep this high. Actually, I didn't really need to do that. Let's undo that. We just need to get to here, and then need to bring the ruler back. All right, so line that up there, and then swing this around. All right, and then we just line that up there, and boop. There we go. And if I did everything right, we now have our gable, which I don't think I did right. Actually, no, I think that is right. I think just because of the way angle we're at, it's just going to be really... It's got a big overhang. That's part of the problem. Okay. Okay, so now that we have that, I'm not going to really worry with laying things out, so just going to go here. Actually, we're going to go here and straight across, and then let's see. Let's see. There we go. Okay, so we got that, and then we got that. Okay. Remember what it said about tangent lines? This doesn't really look good, so we're going to lower that a little bit. And then we're going to pop out of this so we can erase all of that. All right. And there we go. So, actually, let's undo all that. All right, so we're going to bring that back. And just taking advantage of the Alright, I think I can go ahead and get rid of that one. Alright. I think once we give this some shading, it'll look a lot better. Alright, then let's just do the same thing. Yeah, that doesn't look that good. So we'll just leave it like that. And I think we're going to call that good for that part anyway. So I think what I am going to do, is just draw these lines like that. And we'll just continue this out like that. And then all right, and we'll just continue doing this. Like this. Okay, and then for these last few, I'm just gonna have to do this freehand. All right, bring that back. And then we can just continue on like this. And we'll cut off over here somewhere. Actually, let's move things around. Yeah, actually, we'll just cut it off right here. Now that I think about it, probably would have been better to have things getting lighter towards the top rather than getting it dark towards the top. Oh well. Oh no. So, anyway, there we have it. Now we could also do some other stuff. We could go back and add windows or whatever we wanted to do using some of the techniques we used yesterday. I think I'm going to call it here, mainly because it's already 30 minutes. And most of that was me kind of trying to figure some stuff out as I went. You didn't have to add like the eaves like I did. As a matter of fact, it would be a lot simpler if you didn't. So if you don't want to do that, don't do that. But I did it just to give myself a little bit more of a challenge. And, oh boy, it was a bit more of a challenge. So hopefully y'all, did enjoy it. And, let me just, go over here real quick and turn that first layer off. That way. Oh. Yeah, that might be a bit of a problem. Okay. All right, so let's make sure we're on the right layer. Okay, there we go. Now we got our horizon lined. Oops, I forgot to put that back in. So let me just, yeah. Let me go ahead and extend it over here real quick. And there we go. There's our horizon line. And yeah, that's it for today. So I hope you'll join me for day 26 tomorrow. And yeah, this, we only got 5 more exercises left. And they're going to be fun ones. They're going to be, I think there's a couple more perspective ones. And then the last one is redoing something that we did at the very beginning of this. And we'll get to see how much you'll get to see how much you've improved. I'll get to see how much I've improved. And that's going to be a lot of fun. So anyway, this is the Dabbling Warlock signing off. I hope you have had a great one, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow.